freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.
Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives, and I'm your host, Bruce Anthony. Thank you for listening and watching wherever you get your podcasts and video podcasts. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and rate us. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at unsolicited_perspectives. You can find us on Twitter and TikTok at unsolicited_PER. Watch us live now. Watch us live every Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube. Our audience continues to grow with each and every episode, and I humbly thank you.
On today's episode, it's the Sibling Happy Hour. I'm here with my sis, Aundrea. We're going to be talking about Joe Big sentencing, Canadian government warning the LGBTQ community, and weed. But first things first. Hey there, podcast listeners. It's Bruce Anthony here, and welcome to another episode of Unsolicited Perspectives. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's been on my mind lately, the importance of staying hydrated and taking care of ourselves. Whether it's prioritizing our health and wellness, or gearing up for festival seasons, or just gearing up for whatever season or time of year, there's one brand that's been my go-to for all things hydration, Liquid IV. Speaking of health and wellness, let's dive into how Liquid IV can fuel your well-being. Imagine starting your day off right, feeling refreshed and energized. Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier is the missing piece in your daily routine. With just one stick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than water alone. It's perfect for those early mornings, pre-workout boosts, moments when you're just feeling run down, or even after a late night or long flights. I absolutely love how convenient Liquid IV is. The packaging makes it easy to bring with me wherever I go. And let me tell you, it's become vital daily part of my routine. The flavors, let me tell you something, they're incredible. From refreshing sea berry and strawberry lemonade to classics like lemon lime and watermelon, there's a flavor for every preference. It's like a burst of hydration with a hint of deliciousness. Picture this. 1 stick of Liquid IV mixed in 16 ounces of water, hydrating you 2 times faster and more efficient than water alone. And with 12 mouth-watering flavors, you'll never get bored with your hydration routine. Plus, Liquid IV is packed with 5 essential vitamins: B3, B5, B6, B12, and of course, vitamin C. It's also made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, free of gluten, dairy, and soy. This is hydration at its finest. But it doesn't stop there. Liquid IV believes that access to clean and abundant water is the foundation of a healthier world. That's why they partner with leading organizations, finding innovative solutions to help communities protect both their water and their futures. It's incredible to know that Liquid IV has already donated over 39 million servings in 50 plus countries around the world. They truly walk the talk. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code UNSOLICITED at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code UNSOLICITED at liquidiv.com. Remember, folks, taking care of ourselves should always be a priority. So why wait? Head over to liquidiv.com, pick your favorite flavors, and experience hydration like never before. Stay refreshed, stay hydrated, and keep rocking those unsolicited perspectives. What up, sis?
What up, brother? Just trying to get my lighting together.
You and me both. I'm sitting here looking like Casper, and then you disappeared. First you was mellow yellow, now you crazy blue.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about it.
I don't know what to do about it.
Either I turn bright pink or I'm blue. So, but you know what? Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on? You had a very fun weekend.
Yes, I went to Las Vegas for the first time.
Right.
I got to see. Everybody asked me like, "What did you do?" I was like, "What do you mean? What did I do? I had a good time. I don't know. It's supposed to stay in Vegas. Why are you asking me this?"
Right.
But I didn't do like I didn't go to the strip they were like, "You want to go to the strip or something like that?" I was like, "See a street full of hotels? Not
No,
really."
that's not what the strip is dope. Like the strip, I'm trying to think of what I could compare it to, but
Well, I went to Fremont,
I don't know what
and
that
that
is.
was it's another strip of. It's got a real like 50s vibe to it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's got a bunch of restaurants and bars and stuff, and it's all lit up. It's like a whole thing. I went to the Mob Museum.
okay,
Um, and they took me to go see Beyonce. Like I
right.
buried the
That's
lead there.
yeah. That's what we was trying to get to is the fact that you went to
Yeah.
go see Beyonce.
Yes, it was a complete surprise. Shout out to our cousin's fiance. He bought us the tickets. Um, complete surprise. I got to see Beyonce. Actually, let's be clear. Beyonce was a bonus. I got to see Blue Ivy. She was there for our night. I'm a Blue Ivy stan. She was
For
there
real?
that
Okay.
night. Yes. Yeah. This is Blue Ivy's internet we're on. This is Blue Ivy's world. We're
I
just
don't
little
know.
peons living in it.
I
Yeah.
don't know much about Blue Ivy except that's
She runs
Beyonce's
the
Jason.
household. She runs the household. She runs the career. She's everyone's manager, everyone's agent. That
Okay.
in our minds as Blue Ivy stands. That's how
Okay.
we. Yes, and Beyonce just holds her juice boxes, honestly. So
What in reality, what is Blue Ivy? Just her daughter
it's
that
just her daughter.
just
Yes.
her daughter, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but probably the only person like in the world who like gets annoyed when Beyonce tells jokes or something like
Well, as a child does.
yeah.
Yeah,
To
yeah, yeah.
her, that's just her mom, and I think that so it's cool. It's cool seeing them interact.
Well, that's cool that like I wonder how they keep her grounded because she's
Yeah,
been like semi touring with mom, and
yeah,
mom has paid her handsomely
yeah,
from what I've heard.
mm,
But I mean, to have your mom being like Beyonce and Jay-Z,
yeah,
that's got to be,
yeah.
a big deal. And it seems like she's pretty well adjusted. I'm not in the household, so I don't know.
I think she's at an age, of course, where she knows like my mom is Beyonce. Whereas like when she was younger, probably like her siblings probably don't understand their mom is Beyonce.
Yeah.
So or that their dad is Jay-Z, right?
I'm gonna try this again because this lighting. I think that's better.
I just don't like the yellow tint. Yeah.
I've always had the yellow tint though.
No, you have not.
Yeah, it's always been a little yellow.
I've never noticed that.
Well, it's always been a little yellow. Like this might be like too much yellow.
That's too much yellow.
That's too much yellow.
That's practically orange.
Oh, okay. Well, we just gonna keep it like this then, I guess.
Are
And
we
just
taking this out?
no, we're gonna leave it in. This is what we
Why?
do because I don't feel like editing this out. We just go leave this in.
Literally, the people who are listening are like, "What are they even talking about?"
Hey, look, this is
We're
Dilly
talking about
Dynamite.
the lighting.
We're
His
talking about the light.
lighting was too yellow.
Yeah, we're talking about the lighting on the video portion of the
God,
podcast. It's so all right. So Vegas was cool. Did you gamble?
I didn't gamble. No,
Oh, I'm
I'm not a
surprised for you.
gambler. Yeah,
That's a ball headed lie.
I'm not a gambler. I like slots. That's not gambling.
You like gambling in general.
No, I don't.
What was the game Uncle Kenny used to play with you all the time?
Oh, Pacino, that's
Yeah.
different.
Why is that? Is that not playing for money?
Yes. Well,
So that's
damn.
gambling.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I like Pacino and I like slots and I like blackjack
And bingo.
and bingo
So,
and Texas Hold'em.
so gambling. Back to what I originally said. You like gambling.
I didn't bring gambling money. I brought surprise going to Renaissance concert, need to buy merch money. That's where
Okay.
that money went.
That's what
And
that money went.
I bought my Beyonce fan, my folding fan, and my cowboy hat, but I left the cowboy hat.
Well, I guess she'll just mail it to you then.
That would be nice. She
Yeah, I
probably
mean,
will.
You said she's just gonna keep it.
Probably.
All right. Well, tell me. No, we're not gonna put our business out there. I was about to say, tell me about a fiance, but we can save that for the after hours episode. If
Yeah.
y'all want to know about our cousin's fiance, y'all sign up for our Patreon page at patreon.com/unsolicited perspectives, where you can get after hours uncensored. Once again, that is a different show than the Sibling Happy Hour. It is not the Sibling Happy Hour unedited. It is a different show
Yes.
with the two of us.
There
And then
is
talking
no
straight ish.
there is no edited version of the Sibling Happy Hour. There's one where we don't cuss as much, but there's no edited. Like, this isn't. You're not listening to the edited version, and then there's like a uncut
Yeah.
BET uncut version. No, there's not.
There's damn sure not no BET uncut version.
No, it's not.
There's not no BET
It's
uncut version.
It's a whole other show. It's just dilly dallying.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of dilly daddling. And sometimes we talk about sometimes stuff that I won't allow us to talk about on the main show. Because we turn enough people off sometimes with some of our topics on the main show. And today would be a prime example of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of more topics that's going to turn people off. Speaking of turning people off or turning people away or people call us in a ruckus, Joe Biggs was sentenced today to 17 or 18 years, 17 years, right?
He got 17 years, yes, just shy of the longest punishment imposed on a participant. That went to, I believe,
One eye.
Oath Keepers. It was the Oath Keepers founder, Stuart Rhodes. He was found guilty of a seditious conspiracy involving his extremist group, and he got sentenced earlier this year to 18 years.
Okay.
But Biggs is right behind him.
Yeah, so Joe Biggs, for those people that don't know who he is a former top organizer for the Proud Boys. Like we said, he was sentenced to 17 years in prison for his role in the January 6th assault on the Capitol.
Terrorist assault
on the Capitol. He was convicted of seditious conspiracy and other felonies stemming from his leadership role for the January 6th terrorist assault on the Capitol. Like we said, it's one of the longest sentences. 17 is right behind 18 for the guy from the Oath Keepers. Mm-hmm. He's one of 4 Proud Boys found guilty at trial earlier this year for, causing the January 6th terrorist assault. Mm-hmm. For basically trying to keep Trump in power. That's basically what it did. The Justice Department argues Biggs is as responsible as former Proud Boys chairman Henry Enrique Tarrio for his group's involvement in once again, the Capitol terrorist attack on January 6th, and that both men deserve to spend 33 years in prison. This wouldn't be a record-setting punishment for a participant because that was obviously the head of the Oath Keepers, but it was just behind it. Yeah. Now, people are asking me, are people really going to jail for January 6th? In relation to the January 6th attacks, more than 950 people have been charged in January 6th Capitol terrorist riot. Yeah. About 335 people have received sentences.
The name gets longer and longer every time you say it.
Well, because you just got to put that emphasis on it. About 330.
Anti-black.
I didn't say nothing about no anti-black because Henry Enrique was Latino.
That don't mean he's not white.
I think he was Afro-Latino.
Yeah. Well, everybody who's, skinfolk and kinfolk.
Oh, I'm about to attack one group of the Latino community, Dominicans. They do not consider themselves black, but ladies and gentlemen, Dominicans are darker than I am. And I'm black.
I don't know that. Well, yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, they're right next to Haiti.
Yeah, they don't. From what I know, historically, Haitians don't get much love in the Dominican Republic, though.
Oh, of course not, because they're black. And Dominicans don't consider themselves black. But anyway,
you're just gonna anger a whole country.
Now, our goddaughter, our cousin, Dominican.
Yes.
So I love Dominicans.
Again, that is a talking point that you cannot use your proximity to someone to absolve yourself.
Hold on. I legitimately don't have any problem with Dominicans. I'm just stating for the fact a lot of Dominicans that I know don't consider themselves black.
Well, anti-blackness in Latin America and the Caribbean is well, we already know that that's a colorism and anti-blackness, that's a real
I would say
problem.
colorism. I would say anti-darkness because that's across. You know what's funny to me?
It's
Oh
it's
Lord, here we go.
anti-blackness.
Oh Lord, here we go. Tangent. Hold on.
Oh
Let me say
Lord.
this, and then I'm gonna go back to the tangent. About
ADD.
three. Right. Who said? What's the girl that says that again?
I don't know her name, but it was such a funny video. She goes,
It was a funny.
ADHD.
Right, that was a funny rodeo. About 335 people have received sentencing, and approximately 185 of them have been sentenced to prison time. So a lot of them got sentences suspended and probably put on probation.
But these main guys are definitely going.
Yeah, no, they definitely going.
Yeah,
they definitely going. So hold on. So to go back about Dominicans, and you say anti-black, I say anti-dark, because you go throughout most cultures. I know people from India, they even have lightning cream to make
that's
themselves
global.
light.
That's a $1 billion
Right.
industry.
However, you know what's funny?
What?
Everybody want to be lighter except when they want to get a tan.
So strange.
Yeah, this is the strangest thing in the world to me. White
So
people in this
strange.
country, not all white people, but it'd be funny because sometimes some of the most racist white people love tanning. Case in point, our former president of the United States, he loved getting tan. He don't like
Yeah.
black people.
I mean, I don't know any orange people besides him because he is very much orange, but you do have a point, correct?
No, I know a lot of orange people. That's a spray tan.
It is terrible.
Well, I mean, he's 79 years old. You know, I don't
Speaking
know
of
what else.
old, did you see Glitch McConnell freeze up again?
I don't think that's funny to joke on him. I do not like what he stands for.
Here's the thing.
As his politics, I do not wish that on anybody. That freezing like that seemed almost like the sunken place.
Here's my thing.
Okay,
it is hilarious.
No,
and I'm gonna tell you why it's hilarious.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna tell you why it's hilarious.
Okay.
Because he's not a good person. And so to see him glitch out, I don't know why we have to pretend like people are good people just because they're old and sick. First of all,
no.
God
That's
willing, all of us are going to get old and sick one day.
Right.
Like, I wish that all of us got old one day, as old as Mitch McConnell, who is ancient. But I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't give me some weird little joy to see him like really fumble like this. Does that make sense?
I mean, I don't agree with it, but me and you differ when it comes to things like this. And I have a point to this. Me and you differ when it comes to things like this. I can look at people who I absolutely disagree with, right? And as long as they're not a hypocrite, if they believe what they believe, I at least have respect for them to stand up for what they believe in, no matter if it's wrong or right, because I'm not always right. I think I'm right most of the time, but I'm not always right. But I stand on my convictions. I believe what I believe and I stand on them. He believes what he believes and he stands on it. I can respect him a whole hell of a lot more for being consistently who he is than somebody that's a flip-flopper like Donald Trump or Matt Gaetz or Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I find that weird.
I can say to somebody that I fundamentally disagree with your belief system.
I don't disagree with his belief system. I disagree with the very tangible things that he's doing to ruin people's lives. Like we can disagree. We can disagree on. No, there's no way that he thinks he's doing anything for the LGBTQ community or for Black people.
Because he doesn't care about the LGBTQ community.
Exactly. That's my point. But there's no way that I can, okay, if we disagree on something in theory, fine. But when you start to put harmful things into practice, a daily practice, he fundamentally changed the federal judiciary. And that is going to affect particularly communities of color, but poor or low-income communities for decades.
I'm not disputing any of that, and I'm not disagreeing with anything that you're saying.
And so I can't just say that I respect somebody for being a bigot.
That's not that's not what I'm
And
saying.
then act
That's
and
not what I'm saying.
like it, because at least you're consistent. No.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. See,
And anyway, I
you
don't
got
think
me up here defending Mitch McConnell, and I'm not trying to defend Mitch McConnell. I'm trying to defend
nobody wants to be put in that position.
nobody would be. All I'm saying is I'm not going to take joy in the fact that he is clearly having something medically happening to him.
Yeah.
And instead of those people around him being like, yo, man, like, you need to take care of yourself. They
Stop,
keep
step
propping him up.
back. Yeah.
They keep propping him up, which, by the way,
And
he's not the only one.
And that's
Dianne
the funny.
Feinstein,
Mm-hmm.
Joe, my man, Crazy Joe.
And that's the funny that's what makes it funny.
Is
Is
that
the fact that
up?
they keep Weekend at Bernieing him.
But that's the same thing they say about Crazy Joe, though. That's what the same thing they say about Crazy Joe.
And so we should be talking about what? Age limits and term limits.
I don't know if age limits is this thing. Term limits, yes. Term limits, yes. But age limit, I'm not going to, because I know there are some people, speaking of which.
These are people making decisions about our country and the way we're represented abroad. I want their minds sharp.
Yeah, well, I mean, then you got to talk to people that's electing them to office. Right?
But when the pool we get to choose from is a bunch of 80, 90-year-old men, it sucks.
And it's a sprinkle of women in there. It's a sprinkle. It's a sprinkle.
Yeah, but let's be honest. This country's not ready for that.
Well, every time that we had, no, there was a time where we had three young presidents back to back to back. We had Bill, Slick Willie, we had Smooth W, and we had Cool Barack.
Right.
I mean, we had three back to back to back young presidents, and the country was still left up. So I mean, maybe we gave the old folks a run. And Crazy Joe ain't doing a bad job. Contrary to what other people want to say, he ain't doing a bad job.
The economy is bouncing back.
Bouncing back. It still ain't there, but it's bouncing.
It ain't back. Oh, it ain't back.
Yeah, it's bouncing. It's bouncing back. Yeah, it's slowly. That bounces a basketball.
It's bouncing back.
Yeah.
It's doing a little bankhead bounce back. That's what's happening.
Bankhead bounce back. Yeah, you ain't doing that bad of a job. Yeah. But you had me up here defending Mitch McConnell. I'm not trying to defend Mitch McConnell. What I basically was trying to say is I don't take joy in the fact that he's having health issues. I'm just not going to take joy in that.
What I find funny is not that he's having health issues. What I actually find funny is just the way that they're fumbling it. Like the handling of it. They just keep propping him up like a scarecrow.
Yeah, it was really bad. The first time it happened, I was like, oh, that's no good. And that was just like a couple of weeks ago. And now he's having another one out in the open. How many is he having behind the scenes?
Right.
How many is he having behind the scenes? So, and
they keep saying, oh, he was feeling lightheaded. When you feel lightheaded, you go, lightheaded. Mm-hmm. That's what you do.
For people that's listening to on the audio, my sister tucked her head down, put her hand on her head, said, like you're trying to gain balance. But maybe his game balance is just be still.
No, I don't. No one's regain of any kind of cognition is to stare blankly off into space and not respond when people call your name. Like nobody does it like that. You grab your head, you go, lightheaded. And that's how you get that across. So it's just bad all around. Mm-hmm. But he need to think about sitting down somewhere. And funny thing, he glitched out on a question asking him about 2026, about running in 2026. And don't. My recommendation is sit down somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, he already did his damage. He didn't stack the judiciary system to put marginalized people behind the 8 ball for the next, I don't know, generation. So he didn't did his job. He can go and ride off in the sunset, and then at the end of the days when he takes his last breath, burn in hell. But
Yeah.
on that note,
Just die. I see demons. That's what
right, yeah,
we were gonna see.
you
I
gonna see
mean,
demons. Maybe that's the reason why he's freezing. Maybe that's the reason why he's freezing, because he
it might
like
be.
he might be like, oh shit, I see them demons right
I
there.
see demons. Nobody else is reacting, so it must just be me that sees them.
If you see a demon, you might not hear a question asked of you as well. You might be like,
You
huh,
might
what you
just
say?
blank. You might just zone out. You
Huh,
might just.
what you say? I ain't hear nothing you said because there's a demon like literally right there. Y'all don't see that demon?
Yes.
Only I can see the demon, huh? This ain't
Well,
good.
that's not good.
And then
It's
they
not
gonna come up,
great.
and then they're gonna come up and ask him, "Are you okay?" And be like, "No, I
No.
see a demon that don't nobody else see. That don't look good for me. How can I change my ways? Is it too late?"
Is it too late? Is this a Scrooge situation and I get visited by 3 ghosts? Is there
Nah,
time? Is there still time for me to change my ways? That's what I want to
you're
know.
not recalling the Bill Murray movie Scrooge. Oh my God, talk about age. But look, that's enough of the dilly daddling. Let's get to some serious stuff. Since we was talking
Okay.
about Mitch McConnell and his hatred for the LGBT community, let's talk about how Canada is telling its folks, you better watch out. Well, sis, did you hear about what Canada told its LGBTQ community before visiting the US?
I did not until you told me about
All
it.
right. So Canada basically gave an advisory to all of its fellow Canadians that are in the LGBTQ plus community to be on high alert when coming into the United States, because some states have enacted laws and policies that may affect those people, the LGBTQ plus communities, and to check the relevant state and local laws for wherever they're going to visit. The Global Affairs Canada stated, since the beginning of 2023, certain states in the U.S. have passed laws banning drag shows and restricting the transgender community from access to gender-affirming care and from participation in sporting events. Neither the statement nor the travel advisory singled out any specific states or laws, but I will, red states.
Yeah.
And that's basically what's going on. So we've created such a hostile hatred environment to people of the LGBTQ plus community that other
Hmm.
countries are saying, hey, yo, you might want to be careful when you travel there. Kind of similar to Black folks and staying woke. Now, what do I mean when I say that? The history of the word woke was told to Black people to stay awake when they were driving in areas in the South that were not friendly to Black folks. That's where the word woke come from, to stay woke, to be aware of dangerous surroundings. So Canada is basically telling its LGBTQ plus community to stay woke when traveling to certain states and cities
Hmm.
in the US. The home of the free, the
Fair.
home of the free and the land of the brave. That's what they say.
Fair. No, it's fair. We should be issuing these same warnings if just traveling across the country. Um, it's 100% fair because they're not wrong. It's not just laws against something that seems innocuous like a drag show. It's literally the writing into law transphobia and anti-trans legislation that's depriving people of their bodily autonomy, depriving people of the ability to identify the way that they want or need to. It's affecting the mental health and of a large swath of our community. We're dealing with it every day. So I think it's fair for other countries to say, look, the US is getting kind of crazy. We've never been in that position though. That's usually us giving out those
Right.
advisories. Um, So it's strange to be in this position. The other countries are warning about travel to the US, but that's valid.
Well, let me just tell you how valid it is. This year, there's been a record-shattering uh, for anti-LGBTQ plus legislation, with particular scrutiny on gender-affirming healthcare access for for transgender children and teenagers. 19 of the 50 states have passed laws restricting it, while some states have enacted laws that punish healthcare professionals who provide gender-affirming treatment to minors with prison time. Prison time. Others have built
Yeah.
in limited exceptions for minors to continue medication based on non-surgical forms of care. So they could take like hormone therapy and I guess testosterone blockers,
Hmm.
but they can't get no snip corrections or anything like that. The
Hmm.
wide-ranging restrictions have created a complicated legal landscape for trans people to maneuver. Several of the bans force legal challenges from healthcare providers and civil rights organizations. So we're fighting back.
Hmm.
But when 19 of the 50 states let me explain to you guys what this basically means. Do y'all remember slavery?
I seem to
Yeah,
recall a period in the time of African Americans in this country in which we were
yeah.
enslaved. Yes.
There were a certain number of states that had slavery and a certain number of states that outlawed slavery. It was split like
Mm.
half and half. And those same states that basically had slavery, you will see that they are similar states that are writing this anti-LGBTQ plus legislation.
Mhm.
19 states. So what does that mean? The country is divided? This country's always been divided. It's always been divided into the North and the South, and maybe some people want to fly over states. They go back and forth. I know Illinois is a blue state, but then Ohio is a red state, and Wisconsin is now purple. Even though Wisconsin, let me tell you how crazy Wisconsin is. They elect their Supreme Court justices. The liberal side of the Wisconsin Supreme Court just got a new member that was just elected in.
Mhm.
So they're going to, some of these redistricting laws that the Republicans of Wisconsin were trying to get passed, they know now that this quote unquote liberal judge is going to side with the liberal side of the Supreme Court and not allow this gerrymandering redistricting. So what they're trying to do, they're trying to veto her out of office. They either want her to recuse herself from participating in the case of this redistricting gerrymandering, or they will
Mhm.
veto her. And guess what? They have all the numbers to veto. It's a simple majority in the House and a 2/3 majority in the Senate, and they have the numbers. So because because this judge probably is not going to do what these Republicans want her to do,
Mhm.
duly elected judge, they're going to veto her and kick her out of office. Now you tell me, ladies and gentlemen, is that ethical? Is that fair play? Is that democracy? Or is that do it my way or get the hell out?
It damn sure ain't democracy.
It's against democracy because this person was elected into office and now they're trying to
Yeah.
veto her out. But this is the landscape of politics. And so attacks on the LGBTQ plus community is something that politicians can run on now because it
Mhm.
appeals to the base who's supposed to be evangelical and accept and love everybody and follow the teachings of Jesus. But we've already established over the last couple of episodes that these Jesus loving Christian folks don't follow the teachings of Christianity. They follow conservative beliefs, which is not what Jesus was
Mhm.
teaching. But okay, that's how you want to live your life. That's
Okay.
how you want to live your life. And now other countries are considering us
Yeah.
dangerous to come and visit.
Yes. Fair.
I mean, I don't really know what else to talk about this. I felt like this should be a longer segment, but I'm kind of just depressed.
It is very
It's just
depressing.
like I had to talk to somebody recently, and they were defending Dave Chappelle and his attacks on transgender. And let's be clear, Dave hasn't necessarily attacked transgender. He's just not been the ally that I believe he should be for transgender folks.
Mhm.
And the person that I was having a debate with was just like, hey, he was just trying to make a point that, black people, get discriminated against too. And I was like, yeah, okay, but when did this become
As if trans people can also be
I
black.
got that was a later point, but the first initial point
Yeah,
was when did this become a competition of trauma?
right.
That, like I don't know why people want to do, well, my trauma is harder than this. You want to know how hard I had? This is what I had to do. And I guess we're taught because our parents taught us, look, y'all think it's hard now. When I was your age, I had to do this, 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 and this. And I guess it's past.
Yeah.
I guess that,
I had to walk 15 miles to school through the snow
right.
barefooted.
And like, no, you did not. Grandma and granddad gave you shoes and you caught a bus.
Right.
You caught a bus. You were bused to school. So, but I guess that's where it comes from is the generation before us telling us how hard they had it. So you had to out trauma the next person. Okay. So maybe
Mhm.
it's a societal thing. And a lot of times, often in society, people don't want to admit what they're wrong and they don't want to apologize. It's becoming more and more prevalent as we move forward in society and life. But I said, well, Dave was sitting there comparing traumas, number one, and
Mhm.
saying, well, our trauma is longer lasting and is more deeply rooted in America. So we get first dibs. And I'm like, nobody gets first dibs on trauma. That's number one. And I was like, and
No.
number two, he's completely ignoring that there are black people that are trans, and the majority of the people that are committing suicide in the trans community are black. And when I pointed it out to
That are being murdered in the trans
right, that
community.
are either committing suicide or being murdered, they're black. And when I pointed out to that person, they're like, oh, you know what? You're right. I didn't think about that. And I was like, huh. So you can have intellectual debate and people actually listen to your point of view. Because I was hearing what he had to
Yes.
say, and I understand it as a black man what Dave was trying to say. I know what he was trying to say. Just, I'm not going to go
Yes.
to a Jewish person and be like, slavery was worse than the Holocaust. I would never compare traumas like that. I would never
No.
go to a Native American person or what are we an indigenous person and say,
Mhm.
slavery was worse than anything that ever happened to y'all. It's absolutely
No.
ridiculous. Like I would not do that.
Yeah.
All really bad. All of it is bad.
Yeah, it's none of it's great.
Well, I mean, if you listen to the politicians down in Florida, there were some benefits for black folks in slavery.
They were already agrarian
No,
people.
no,
That's why you had them come over
no,
here.
that's not.
Because they already knew how to
No, but
farm.
that's not what they saying though. That's not what being taught.
The hell? Y'all didn't teach us nothing.
Um, they did teach us Christianity, which I don't know if that was a good or bad thing.
Okay.
I mean, I love the Lord. Just their version of Christianity is a little bit different.
Yes.
You got
Yes.
anything to add on to about this? I got a feeling, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a short show because I told my sister earlier today, I was like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I found some stuff. I found some stuff, but I'm gonna be real honest with
You
you.
found some
Yeah,
things,
I'm gonna be real
yeah.
honest with y'all. I'm tired of talking. And oh, by the way, just to let y'all know, since Labor Day is Monday, there will not be an episode on Tuesday. So the next time you hear from us will be next Friday. That's just a
Yes.
heads up. There won't be a show on Tuesday. And I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. I'm gonna take a vacation. I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
I
take a
mean,
vacation.
no. It's a
Yeah,
staycation.
staycation.
But that's
Yeah,
valid.
staycation. I ain't
Yeah.
going nowhere but staycation. I tell you where I'm not gonna go.
I just realized I had a 3-day weekend and just now in this moment. And so thank you
Yeah,
for
well,
that.
I'm probably reminding a whole bunch of people that are in the rat race that don't realize that you about to, Monday is off. You don't have to get up. Don't get up and go to work and then get to work or turn on your laptop and realize I didn't have to get up and get dressed.
I don't have to
I
do
didn't have to
this.
do this. You got anything else to say about this?
No, I don't. I think it's sad when we become one of those countries that other countries view as so inhospitable to certain groups that they actually issue travel warnings. I don't think we ever wanted to be in it. And the statement from the State Department that the U.S. is committed to promoting tolerance, inclusion, justice, and dignity. When?
Well, I will say this. For all the red states that are writing this legislation that is anti-trans, all the blue states have responded by protecting access to care. So there is a fight between the red and the blue of rights, transgender rights.
And let's be honest, there aren't very many red states that are big tourist draws.
That's not true. Texas, Florida.
Those are literally the only two.
Texas and Florida. Tennessee.
Yeah, those are literally the only
Tennessee.
two. No,
Nashville and Memphis. Shoot, I might go back to Memphis this year for Halloween. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got some Memphis residents out there listen to the show, I might be coming out there for Halloween because I like coming out there for Halloween because I like Memphis. Memphis is my city. This is my second favorite city.
I've always wanted to go.
I'm telling you. Let's do a trip. Brother, this is a trip. All three of us. Let's do a trip. Let's go to Memphis. I'll show y'all around the way because I've been there before. I know.
Right.
I show y'all where Juicy J and Project Pat and them like grew up because I chop it up with Project every time. Every time I'm out there, which has only been once.
No, you don't.
Not at all. But so Tennessee, Texas, Florida. People go to Ohio. The baseball Hall of Fame is in Ohio.
Nobody goes to Ohio.
People go to
you drive through Ohio.
Where is the national monument? The where the president faces? What's that called again?
Rushmore.
Yeah, Mount Rushmore. Where is that? That's in the Dakotas, right?
I have no idea.
Where people go?
I have no idea.
People go there. People go to that state. People go to that state over there, and then people go.
It is in Keystone, South Dakota.
See, people go to South Dakota. To go see,
nobody's going to Mount South Rushmore. Dakota.
Where is that big? Where's the Grand Canyon?
I don't know.
People go to that state too.
I literally don't know.
People go to that state too.
I don't feel as bad because you clearly don't know.
I don't know either.
The Grand Canyon is in Arizona.
Okay, all right. Well, that's another red state.
Nobody's going there.
People go to Phoenix. People go to Louisiana.
Nobody's going.
People go to New Orleans.
Listen, okay, so when you talk to people abroad about where they want to go, it's usually New York or California. That's where they want to go. Or DC.
A lot of them want to come to the nation's capital.
Sure.
You know what's crazy? A lot of people from other countries know that Washington, D.C. is not a state and is the nation's capital. And there are some people that actually that live in this country that don't know that Washington, D.C. exists.
I'm not surprised by that. It took me a second, but I'm not surprised by that whatsoever.
Yeah. All right.
And I'll tell you why. Because when we were moving to DC, I told my teacher in small town Virginia that we were moving to DC, and she said, "Oh, honey, you can't live in DC. You can live around DC." But she had no idea that you could live. This is my teacher.
Yeah, well. And you was in the gifted program. You was in the regular middle school. No, when did we move?
No, I was still in honor. I was still in honors classes.
You know what?
And it wasn't like it was like a kindergarten teacher or something. No. This was like I was in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And she didn't know you could live in DC. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, no. For people listening to the show, just to let you know that people live actually in the city limits of DC. There's homes and apartment buildings and all types of stuff. It's like there are
condos, townhouses,
it's everything. Residential area.
You can absolutely live there.
My best friend actually lives in the city limits. I'm going to see her either this weekend or next weekend. I'm going into the city of which that is just 5 miles away from my house. So it's real close. Yeah.
You can definitely, but the way she is so condescending. "Oh, honey, you can't live in DC." All right. And I just shrugged because I don't know.
You didn't know. You was 12. Know. Well, maybe she was high. And speaking of high, we talk about marijuana next. All right, Jay. First of all, I think that was a good segue. You said what kind of segue? It was a good segue. That teacher obviously
That
was
was a
high.
crazy
Well,
segue.
just sometimes you just gotta create a segue. Like I can't. It can't be our next segment next. The next segment is next.
You got to work with what you got to work with. What
Yeah, you got to work with what you
it.
got. All right. The Department of Health and Human Services, the HHS, has sent its findings on marijuana to the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, as part of Biden's administration's effort to possibly alter marijuana status in the USA. Now, everybody may be thinking, like, why would you need to alter marijuana status in the USA? Because it's technically scheduled as a Schedule 1 drug. Do you guys want me to tell you what a Schedule 1 drug is? Schedule 1 drugs are heroin.
Oh, was that rhetorical?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was rhetorical. It's heroin.
Sorry.
It's all the hard stuff.
Yeah, basically anything that has zero medicinal value and is highly addictive.
What they say has zero medicinal value and highly addictive. That's the key. And they put marijuana in that classification. There's a whole history of why marijuana is in that classification. And
absolutely ridiculous.
And I'll get to it. I'll get to it in a minute. But I just want to talk about the fact that old Crazy Joe, I call him Crazy Joe. Because
I don't know why.
Because they usually call him Batman. Because they usually call him Batman, but now they call him Crazy Joe. I just flip it from Lean on Me. That's all. I don't know.
I got it.
And, Slick Willie.
No, it makes sense now.
Cool Barack. Crazy Joe. That's, because he looked like somebody crazy uncle. You never know what he gonna say.
No, I always call him $1 Billion Joe. I don't know why. I think it's his smile.
I don't think he got $1 billion though.
No, but he's got $1 billion smile.
Okay, it's when he's wearing them aviator shades.
Yes, and he just looks cool.
Yeah, he just be looking cool, like a crazy old uncle. So back to the weed. So Joe is basically like, man, we need to move. Like, this has been ridiculous for a long time. You have this drug.
And inaccurate.
Inaccurate, what do you mean?
I mean, it does have medicinal value and it is not highly addictive.
Once again, then we'll get into the history of marijuana in a minute. But especially now, considering the fact that medical marijuana is prevalent in currently 23 states and DC. Yeah, that's right. Washington, D.C. have enacted laws regulating the non-medical use of marijuana for adults. 23 states and DC said you could just spark up. And I love it because, I love it and hate it because I walk the streets in DC and it does smell like marijuana. Just open air marijuana smoke. And
as it should.
Well, like I said, when you're not smoking marijuana, the smell is not good.
Right.
When you're smoking marijuana, because I smoked marijuana with my good friend Friday night, and we got high as a Georgia pie, and watched How I Met Your Mother. We were supposed to watch Wet Hot Summer or something like that. It's some crazy funny movie, but we ended up watching How I Met Your Mother because I was like, we ain't never gonna watch this movie. Anyway, so we just got high.
Yeah.
And it's fun getting high. High take your stress away. Marijuana is good. It's from the earth.
Now, we don't know what their recommendation is, correct?
Yes, we do. They want to schedule it as a Schedule 3 drug. According to the HH letter obtained by Bloomberg, the agency recommended reclassifying marijuana as a Schedule 3 drug, a substance considered to have moderate to low potential for physical and physiological dependence. So I think I agree with that because I do know people who are addicted to weed.
I don't think that an addiction forms.
When you smoke day and night, that's an addiction. Now, that addiction may come because they just want to be high. An addiction like alcohol, it may just come because they don't want to deal with whatever issues that they have because it does reduce anxiety and stress and depression and all that different stuff. So dependency on not having to deal with their real life in that regard. But it's not like if I hand somebody a joint, that all of a sudden they're going to be addicted to marijuana for smoking it the very first time. So they're recommending it, according to Bloomberg, to be moved from a Schedule 1, which got all the crazy strong stuff, to a Schedule 3.
Right.
All right, you ain't got Jay. You ain't talking that much today. I've been talking. I'm going to look at the
What?
transcript on this episode, and it's going to be 85% me talking.
I feel like I've been
I
contributing.
mean, you contributing
very much to this.
You know what you contributing this much for? Remember when Eddie Murphy did that SNL sketch and he was like, "Yeah, I was a part of the Beatles," and it was just him singing the song.
Not just doing man.
Yeah, that's what you
man. Oh yeah, man.
If y'all don't get that, just look up the best of Eddie Murphy's Saturday Night Live. It was made over 30 years ago, and all that stuff is still hilarious today.
Yeah.
All right, so the history of marijuana, since my sisters don't have too much to say today. The history of marijuana.
I thought that was next. You had promised me some history. And I was waiting for it. And I thought that was next.
It is next. Okay.
I didn't know that I needed to. Okay.
All right.
What's the history?
The history of marijuana prohibition in the United States has deep roots in racism and xenophobia. Why xenophobia? Well, the majority in the early 20th century, the laws were originally used to target Latinos and Black jazz musicians. So Latino people from Mexico, Mexicans, were bringing weed because weed was legal at this time. We're bringing weed into the States and showing, hey, you can smoke this if you put some papers on it and put it in a pipe, and they give you that good feeling. And this all happened after the Mexican Revolution, and
now that's too good.
That's too good. Good.
Okay.
This all happened because of the Mexican Revolution in 1910, when many of the Mexicans began moving into the United States. And like I said, they brought a tradition with them of smoking marijuana. The explicit racist roots of cannabis policy in the United States are explored in the detailed book, Marijuana, A Short History. It highlights how politicians across the political divide spent much of the 20th century using marijuana as a means of dividing the country. Specifically, there was a gentleman called, it was in my notes, but I got rid of the notes. There was a politician. What was the politician's name? I don't know. I don't know either. I didn't messed up my notes. Ladies and gentlemen, I done screwed up my notes. And there was a politician back in the day in the 1920s that basically was like, look, it's Latino people and Black jazz musicians that are smoking this weed. And they call it the reefer craze. And what they were really, really scared of, and this has been documented if you Google search, if I had his name, because I had it in my notes and accidentally deleted it. But if I had his name, you can look it up. In 1920s, he was the head of the, it was called like drug. It was in my notes, but then my notes is gone. But whatever, we here now. He said that we have to maintain and contain the spread of marijuana use between Latinos and Blacks, because a lot of white people were starting to go to jazz clubs. And what they were really, really afraid of, as always, protecting white women, they were scared that Black male jazz musicians were going to hypnotize these white women into having sex with them and crazy sex acts and corrupt their minds and things of that nature. That is the reason why that's one of the reasons why marijuana became illegal. And one of the reasons why it became a Scheduled I drug, despite the fact like heroin and cocaine and methamphetamines and things of that nature. Ecstasy is one of the Schedule I drugs as well. These drugs are a little bit more dangerous than marijuana, even though we were taught that marijuana was a gateway drug. And let me just explain to y'all, I done smoked a lot of marijuana in my life, and it has never led me to any hard drugs.
That's why it led me to the fridge.
Right. It has never been a time where I was like, I hit a blunt or I hit a joint, and I was like, you know what would be real good right now? To do a bump of cocaine or to shoot up some heroin. I've never said that to myself. I said, never. You know what would be really good right now? Some Doritos.
You know what would be really good? Some munchies.
Well, I didn't know about munchies at the time. I'm talking about when I first started smoking. But right now it is absolutely munchies.
Yes.
And what's crazy is despite the fact that the usage rates for marijuana between whites and non-whites is basically the same, Black Americans have been arrested for marijuana offenses at a rate of nearly 4-1 compared to whites. If you want to also recognize how racist the drug laws here in this country, go no further than a college paper I wrote English year. I wrote a paper called The Inequality of Drug Laws. And it was basically detailing how powder cocaine and crack cocaine gave you different sentences. It was 5-1. You could have 5-1 amount of powder cocaine to the one crack cocaine, and you would get the same amount of time in prison. And I was always like, why is crack being punished harsher than cocaine when you can't have crack without cocaine, but you could definitely have cocaine without crack?
Right.
Like, shouldn't you punish the major source before you punish? But no, it's because the addicts and the people that were dealing with crack were minorities. So that's the way you populate the jail system. But that's the legal history of marijuana and drugs.
With people of color and with poor people.
Yep. People are poor and people of color and poor people. That's what you want to do to populate the prison systems, because the prison systems are a private institution now that generates money.
So I think I really hope that the DEA takes the recommendation from the HHS to take it down to a Schedule 3, because I think that might open the door for more states to allow it for recreational use.
Some people are stuck in their ways. I have a friend of mine. She's 60 years old. Damn it! Today was her retirement party, and I forgot to stream it to watch it. I need to contact her because I need to see her tomorrow.
Well, if you were going to lie about it, you can't now.
I don't think she listens to the show.
Okay.
If she did, she would. She's got some conservative views, and so I pretty much could guess that if she turned on the episode one time, she's like, I can't want to listen to this shit, because probably she's a friend, but we disagree on a lot of policies and things of that nature. But she's like adamant against, marijuana does this and that. And I was like, have you ever smoked it? No, because I want to keep my brain. I was like, well, I feel like I'm pretty intelligent, and I've smoked a lot of marijuana. So, I mean, does it kill brain cells? Yeah, but so does alcohol. So there's too many shots to the head.
Yeah.
Car accidents can kill brain cells. Whiplash kills brain cells.
Any little knock upside your head.
Yes. Anything. So, you have anything else to say? Look, I just feel like I'm carrying this damn episode today.
I don't know why. I've been talking this entire time.
Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all tell me. Y'all give me some feedback on this episode. I don't know.
I feel like I've been talking this entire time.
All you said was, after everything I said was, are you high right now? Because the only thing you said was, well, I hope the HSS take
I said, I hope the DEA takes
right, but
the
you said HSS first. You said, and then you switched to DEA. Maybe you didn't.
No,
yeah, you did.
I said, I hope that the DEA takes the HSS recommendation.
Yeah, you did. That's what you said. I'm tired. I don't know what else to say. I'm tired. I'm tired. And we got to film another whole episode after this, the Sibling Happy Hour. I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about the Sibling Happy Hour. That's really going to be some dilly-dallying.
Oh, I kind of wanted to talk about that guy that went viral on TikTok because he's in a situation where
I didn't watch the whole thing because that thing was too long. It was like 4 whole minutes.
Oh. Well, it's just the whole backstory, like the whole situation.
Well, we could talk about that on that. We could talk about that on the After Hours Uncensored. We can talk about that on After Hours.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that was my recommendation.
Okay, that's what we could talk about. Well, you want to talk about anything anymore? You want to say anything else about the weed? I'm losing my train of thought. You would have thought I smoked right now, but I didn't. I'm not completely sober because I'm drinking right now, but I'm not drunk.
Right.
I'm just having a hard time.
Are you sure?
Yeah, my mouth is dry right now. That's a problem. I feel like my lips is really chapped and ashy. So definitely when we end this episode, put some Vaseline on my lips.
Well, they don't look dry.
But that's good.
So at
Well,
least
that's
you
because I
got that
just
going
licked them
for
like
you.
I was LL. I've been licking my lips like LL Cool J this whole episode.
But that's actually the worst thing.
Yeah.
In your saliva, you have enzymes that help break down food. The thinnest skin on your body is your lips. What do you think those enzymes are doing?
Well, Jay, what am I supposed to do? The Vaseline is over there, so I'm gonna get the Vaseline when we finish this episode.
Well, I hope you do, because there's nothing more uncomfortable than having dry lips.
Dry lips, dry mouth. There is nothing, especially when you got to talk. It is the worst feeling in the world.
It is truly terrible.
I would rather stub my
your
toe.
lips start sticking to your
Yes.
teeth. It's not great.
That's kind of something that happens when you smoke weed, though.
Yeah, I get
dry mouth. Would be a great invention if they come up with something. I know they have like this mouthwash that helps with dry mouth. It's a lie. It doesn't help. I have it. But it doesn't help. I don't care what they say. It does not help. I have dry mouth and I use it and I'm like, this ain't undry my mouth. My mouth is still dry. What's it supposed to do?
You might need a prescription or something.
Well, I don't know.
Because I know you get enough water.
Yeah, I drink.
I know
I drink like 1.5 gallons of water a day. Maybe I get too much water.
Yeah, so that's not right. That might be something clinical.
Maybe marijuana can help it.
It might.
It might. Maybe I need to start smoking more.
That's the thing. I think that, they need, is there a study on that? I don't know.
It might be. They might have studied it. Somebody might have. I'm not going to look it up right now this minute.
Let's look that up. Let's see where we can take that.
I had the YouTube on the whole time. It was in the background. I hope it didn't pick up on air.
I didn't
hear anything either, but I just clicked over and it was Jim Jordan. And I was like, oh Lord, let me exit this out. Nobody want to hear what he got to say. I tell you something, he's definitely against marijuana becoming a Schedule 3 drug.
Ugh. God.
All right. I think that's going to be it for today. What do you want to tell the people out there?
Let me think.
Hey, smoke weed every day?
No,
okay.
I'm not gonna say that. Let me think here. I got nothing. I don't know. I keep thinking I'm gonna come up with a catchphrase and then I just don't. Well, except for our opening.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a catchphrase.
I didn't know it was either. We just say it all the time.
Yeah. So I got nothing. Sorry, but thanks for listening.
That could be it. I got nothing. Sorry, but thanks for listening.
Yeah.
On that note, as always, go to our website, unsolicitedperspectives.com, where you get all of the information on everything that we provide, our audio and video podcasts, as well as our merch store, our link to our Patreon page that once again has After Hours Uncensored and Talk Straight-ish with me, Bruce Anthony. There's like 40 episodes or more on our Patreon page that is completely different to everything that we've done on Unsolicited Perspectives. But on that note, thank you for listening to this crazy, disjointed episode of ADHD Takeoff. And on that note, as always, I'll holla. Thank you for listening to Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, and donate. Donations help us keep giving you this free content each and every week. Until next time, Audi 5000. Peace.